let's jump to a few things I want to do real quick.
Let's do it. Yeah, no more college talk.
No, yeah, here we go. People are talking about Zach Taylor could be fired by the Cincinnati Bengals. Give me a quick answer, yes or no.
No, of course not. Of course
Why?
not. I guess the biggest question, well, because their offense is awesome and their quarterback's an MVP. That's why. So why would you disrupt the most important part of your franchise?
That's what I tell everybody.
I guess the biggest question mark is someone like Lou Anarumo in trouble, who we think is a really good defensive mind, and we know that he's a good defensive mind, and he's done a great job in big-time situations helping this team get to the Super Bowl. With his struggles, is he one of those guys that gets on the chopping block because they need to make some sort of move, right, in this offseason?
It's not who Cincinnati is. And You're right. You fire Zach Taylor, you fire the offense that Joe Burrow's running.
Right.
And Joe Burrow's going to, hey, wait, I like the way the guy calls the game. And you can tell they have Joe Burrow goes over, I want this, I want that. And Zach Taylor goes, you got it.
That's right.
Let me give it to you. So, and Lou Anarumo, if they fire him, I'll say this. He might be happy because he'll get a big pay raise wherever he goes, because look, they're just, I watch most of the Cincinnati games, and it's a different kind of little different game plan every week because he's trying to catch the other team by surprise. But the problem is it's pro football, and these teams catch on quick. So they've been outmanned so many games, but I don't think they'll do that either. It's not the way Cincinnati operates. Right. They'll keep him. They'll give it one more, man, if they could just – what the problem with the Bengals is the offseason. Everybody's friggin' hurt. Oh, he can't play this guy. It's unbelievable. So you answered that question well. Let's see what else I got.
And all that being said, they still got an opportunity to make the playoffs. They got to have a few things go in their favor this weekend, but they still got that opportunity. And I think everyone is praying to God that the Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend.
Denver and Miami must lose for the Bengals to get in, and they must win. And winning, I think, will be very difficult playing the Steelers. Okay, Saquon, real quick, your point. Yes or no? Should he play?
I say the Bengals whoop the Steelers' ass this weekend.
Wow. Okay.
I do. I think the Steelers go into the playoffs with a 4-game losing streak. Should you play Saquon? If you play Saquon, you got to play everybody. That's the biggest thing. And me personally, God, just because you couldn't write it any better with it being against the Giants and all that. If I was Nick Sirianni, I'd say if my team was into it, I would do it. But that being said, the main goal is to win a Super Bowl. And if Saquon does, for whatever reason, roll an ankle or get injured in that football game, there is no chance the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win a Super Bowl without him on the football field. So it's a safe bet. Don't play him because you got to play the whole unit if you do. But me personally, rubbing salt in the wound, hell yeah, I would love for him to play. Wow.
Well, you don't want him to rub salt in the Giants' wound. That wound's big enough.
They
don't need any more. They don't need any more of that. I go back, Bill Belichick played all of his guys in a meaningless game down in Houston years ago, and his star slot receiver, Wes Welker, I think it was his knee, blew out his knee in that game, and he was not available for the postseason. But that's the only injury I really remember about any teams that are in this situation where they went ahead and played their guys. I do believe, I agreed with Dan Campbell with all that's going on, especially with their defense. We'll talk about that game here soon. But the fact that he played that game against the 49ers and it was all out, he kept his team confident and rhythm. And I don't care. The 49ers are devastated wherever. I don't care. I mean, hell, who's more devastated than the Detroit Lions? So I like what Dan Campbell did playing against the 49ers. What was your thought about that?
I liked it. I always, I think, err on the side if I was a head coach or just a part of a football team that way of just keep it rolling. You can't build enough momentum and rhythm playing football. And I think when you start to play those games of the what ifs and this and that, you're really just derailing all of that stuff that you have ready to go. You're just overthinking the situation, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you could get out of your damn car in the parking lot of the football facility and roll your damn ankle. So it doesn't, it's not one of those things where I overthink it and say, man, we got to protect our whole football team and all that. I think playing really is the best way to go.
I would think running back is the one position you got to worry about injury more than probably any other position on the field.
Right.
As the great Bill Belichick said, I said, how come you're not playing this running back this weekend? Boom, he's a little nicked. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound like, Bill Belichick. He goes, listen, Sims, when you're a running back in the NFL, every carry is a car wreck.
That's
so
right.
if they're not really healthy, then they're not playing, because you can't play the position and have any little being timid at all in what you do. And of course, that makes sense to all of us to follow it. Let's see.
It definitely does.
Here, what else I got? I got a lot. So let's go back to week 2. Week 2's over. What was the big controversy then?
Week 2, I don't know. What was it?
We got to get rid of cover 2 in the NFL. You just can't do it. There's no scoring. Nobody's ever going to score. And now it just seems like, 40, this, 30, 40. It's unbelievable. The scoring's just, I know the whole league's not, but the good teams are putting up some points.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Was that a little overreaction in week 2?
Yeah, it's okay. You tuned in that day, that's for sure. But yeah, Chiefs scored 29, Baltimore Ravens scored 31, Chargers scored 40, Bengals scored 30, Bills scored 40, Giants scored 45.
There you go. Yep, that says it all right.
Eagles scored 41, Tampa Bay scored 48, Dolphins scored they scored 20, it doesn't matter. Vikings, Commanders, 27-30. Oh, yeah, the Detroit Lions against San Fran won in a 40-34 bloodbath.
They were probably mad they only scored 40. But listen, that's the Lions. Here we go. 2 college questions for you. Quick answers. Michael Penix, tell me what you think. Here we've seen 2 games of him in the pros. You were talking to me about him. Tell me what you said, and what you believe, and what you saw.
He's awesome. I'm excited for them. I think he is the future of the franchise. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be a dynamic football player for them. You mentioned this to me. They got to kind of fix the offense just a little bit to fix a little bit more of his skill set. But the raw talent is there, the repetitions and all that. For a guy who hasn't played football in almost a year, he looked damn good in his 2 starts so far. So I'm very excited for Atlanta, and I think they got a keeper in Michael Penix. I think he's going to be a dynamic thrower in the league for a long time.
Okay, I will say this. He did throw the ball in the game, the first 2 games. When I watched him at Washington almost every week, watched him coming out. So I never saw him get so high up with the ball and over the top that I've saw a little bit in both games against the Giants and against Washington. Do you see the same thing?
Yeah, I thought that there was a few opportunities where he just tried to throw the ball so damn hard that he just put his whole body into it. And sometimes when you try to do that and you try to really drive through it, you almost kind of get caught leaning too soon. And then the arm goes a little high, especially the one corner throw that he threw late in the football game in the red zone. Threw it high because he just tried to lean into it so hard to throw it that much more aggressively. But there was Kyle Pitts on the 4th down throw over the middle, did a great job staying level. And I would love to see what the radar gun has to say on that throw, because that was probably the hardest throw in football I've seen in the NFL in a long time.
Well, the big thing he did when they needed it, he drove them down the field for the touchdown. They got it done. Right. That was just another thing that, like, okay, now the next time you're in that situation, could be this week, you'll have some history to help you through that sequence even a little better. Real quick.
And he did at the end of the game too. As long as Raheem actually manages the game a little bit better for him, he's going to put them in position to win the game.
In this day and age, don't the head coaches have an analytics guy in their headphone?
Yeah, they do.
I know that some that told me
they do.
We're waiting for the guy to tell me in the headphone the analytics before I kind of make a decision.
I know that one was so obvious, though. I mean, I think we were all at home. Like,
no, gosh, that was.
And you got a rookie quarterback too. Come on, I mean,
that was
help the guy out.
Yeah, that it wasn't as bad as the Buffalo Bills the year they were in Kansas City in the championship game, the 13-second fiasco.
Yeah,
but damn, it was pretty bad. It could cost them. That could cost them the fact that they keep them from going to the playoffs. So I'll just throw it out there. Hey, the other one, Mr. College Football, give me a quick assessment of Jaylen Milroe. He's coming out in the draft. Are you surprised? And give us a quick thumbnail sketch on him.
Quick thumbnail sketch. I think a lot of scouts are really going to enjoy watching his film because he makes a lot of phenomenal football plays. A lot of what he does seems to be kind of out of quote unquote structure of the offense, He's great at improvising, scrambling, using his legs. He's going to run not only for speed, but also for power when they watch the film. He can rip off a lot of big-time plays. He's got a really strong arm. He can throw the football down the field pretty well. I think his processing is pretty average, and I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses that he has. And this is something that we've discussed multiple times. Quarterbacks that are really good athletes and have rocket arms typically don't have to learn anticipation and read progressions quite as tightly because they can kind of just make it happen. And that's the one thing that I think evaluators will be a little bit disappointed when they watch, that he passes up easy completions at times because he's either waiting for the big one or he's just not seeing the field as well as he should be for the amount that he's played.
Or he's watching a rush to where he's going to escape and run. I got to tell you, I was excited about him, but boy, there's been some games down the stretch. I just go, wow, red flags. I mean, he's a different Anthony Richardson, but you're going to think about Anthony Richardson. Oh, we can polish him up. Well, you have, but to what degree?
Yeah.
And I know he's hurt, missed games. I know all that. I'm up on that, but I don't think the progress is what they thought they would have seen in 2 years being on a roster in pro football.
Right.
So Jaylen Milroe, if he was processing even at an average level, I think he would probably be like a top 10 pick, but this is saying it before we really look. Mm-hmm. But what I've seen these few games got to be a little scary. I think I said it to you, right, Matt? That I said he needs to maybe go in the portal and go into a different offense. I just thought
it's interesting. It's a good thought because he almost, his skill set in a way reminds me of Jalen Hurts in a sense, with kind of the style in which they play, but he's more explosive as a runner, right? When Jalen was at Alabama, and when he was at Alabama, it was a little bit that sense. And even Nick Saban told Jalen, go to a school that can really develop you as a passer, because they were going forward with Tua Tagovailoa, and he chose Oklahoma, and that's what he did. He got a ton of throws, and they played kind of a wide open style. And, I think that would benefit Jalen too, of just playing more. Big picture really doesn't matter for who, just playing the game more. But I do think that Kalen DeBoer's offense and what they did this year was very so-so. It wasn't really an offense, I think, that would help someone like Jaylen Milroe improve at the quarterback position. I think Ryan Grubb leaving and going to Seattle to be offensive coordinator for them really was one of the big missing pieces, I think, for Kalen DeBoer and his transition to Alabama.
I wrote something down. I heard Hasselbeck on TV before we came on, Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah.
And let's see, when he would, just to show you how quarterbacks and, we talked about the Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold scenario, and there they were both standing on the sideline in Atlanta like, we can't even play. Who was the starting quarterback when they were on the sideline?
When they were on the sideline?
Yeah, they're all in Carolina. Those two are standing next to each other on the sideline. They're not playing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quarterback?
Who was it?
P.J. Walker beat him out.
P.J. Walker, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
P.J. Walker had a great arm, but man, he was the king of the overthrows. But hey, he hung.
Hey, don't talk about our guy like that.
No, I'm not. I mean, hey, look, I don't know how many years he got in the league, but quite a few.
Can't talk about a Jersey guy like that, man.
No. So hey, the Arizona St. Louis Cardinals had Nick Foles, Case Keenum, and Jared Goff on the roster together.
Yeah.
And let's see. One went to the Super Bowl. Another one won a Super Bowl. And Case Keenum had an unbelievable run with the Vikings to take him to a championship game, which they were not good enough to win that game.
Right.
But how about that? It shows you. I'm saying all this because of just one reason. Everybody understand. One guy is not going to change it. You have to change it with many guys to get something on your offense or your football team, however you want to look at it. Yeah, the quarterback can give you hope, but damn, can you supplement him? Think about the game we're going to talk about a little here. Mm-hmm. Think about Minnesota and Detroit.
Right.
A lot of good players, right? Mm-hmm. But we think a lot of them are great. Why? Because the coaches have the right thing, the right scheme that fits them and it works, and it drives their talent up. Confidence. Yeah. I mean, just think all the things it does. And so, you say this about people that go, oh, come on, we got to get a quarterback. So, it's just, I think those are a lot of great examples of misses and miscalculations and
bad coaching.
And bad coaching.
That's really what it comes down to. It's all about bad coaching and bad infrastructure. And I think Giants fans know all too well when they were just calling for Daniel Jones's head every single game. All right, well, great. You cut Daniel Jones. How's it looking? Has it gotten better? Yeah, that's right. There's still, a team that has a lot of holes to fill and lack the talent necessary to be competitive against these other teams that we're talking about that are playing on such a high level. So,
well, Drew Lock, he looked like a little bit. I thought it was Josh Allen playing for the Giants there a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, Drew Lock, and that was one of those things too. Like, oh, Tommy DeVito, he's practiced better. He looks more consistent. Yeah, okay, so what? I mean, Drew Lock, just give him opportunities to practice and play, really, and just to play, and he's going to make a lot of damn wow plays. I remember somebody the other day, too, was just like, well, they went with Tommy DeVito because he's got a little bit more pop in his step and he's a little bit better athlete. And I looked at the guy and was like, are you serious? Like, there is no way. But, that's just how funny people are. I'm all for Tommy DeVito and his career in the NFL. Sure, but, great. Drew Lock has starting quarterback qualities to him.
No doubt.
And if he gets the opportunity, like some of these other QBs, to be in a situation that it's at least somewhat manageable, he could actually be a really good football player. But I think big picture wise, like we saw Drew Lock did some special things against the Colts, and wow, what a terrible performance by the Colts.
Oh my God. Well, their defense has been disappointing all year. I thought they were going to have a big time stellar defense. You look at that defensive front, and man, it was a big fizzle the whole year. Hey, but let's go back to the big fizzle. So not the cleanest word to come up with. All right, real quick here. Yeah. So the Giants win the game. Now they're number 4. And of course that was all. It hasn't been maybe the outroar that I thought it would be. It's still pretty big. Radio, TV, papers, all that. So what do you think? The fact that let's say it stays the way it is. This is way above, in front of all this. The Giants are the 4th pick. Are they going to move up and give up a bunch of stuff to try to get one of the 2 quarterbacks that we all right now perceive to be 1 and 2? What's your answer to that?
Yeah, I think no, honestly, at this moment, unless one of them falls to them. I think they're going to stay in that 4 position and not give up more things because there's so many other issues, I think, to this football team. I mean, lack of depth on both offensive and defensive lines. I mean, what are they going to do in the secondary? What are they going to do, to fill the holes as far as their skill positions at receiver, tight end, and running back? Right. I mean, you can essentially go through the entire roster and say and make a case that, it would be good for them to add another player to that position group in this year's draft. So to give away certain things, I don't think that necessarily makes sense. And I think getting one of those 2 quarterbacks doesn't solve any problem that they have whatsoever. I think you're just putting another young quarterback in a really tough situation and asking them to be the fix. And I don't think that's the case. And honestly, I don't even think Shador would play for the Giants anyway. Big picture. I really don't. So I think if they drafted him, I think he'd be like, I'd like you to trade me. I mean,
you never know. Yeah, I think that's possible. Yeah. You got to play all these things close to your vest. If you're Dion, Shador, whoever, Cam Ward, Cam's going to go wherever he gets drafted. I'm sure he's going to be happy if he's picked 2nd, 1st, 5th, 10th, whatever. Yeah. But let's do real quick the Minnesota-Detroit game.
Yeah.
Sunday night, Chris Collinsworth. Here we go. Mike Tirico.
Chris Collinsworth. Everybody's good.
He is going to be. He's going to be screaming, oh, my God. It's going to be funny. I love listening to him. But the fact he gets so excited about the guard pulled and knocked the guy out. Okay, just whatever. That wasn't a good example.
And he's definitely going to use a line, too, of just like, I had to do some extra homework just to know who some of these guys were for the Detroit Lions.
Well, like that won't be a lie. That'll be the truth.
He'll say, but it's just like he says some of those things that I think are pretty funny occasionally where you're just like, I had to check to see, which practice squad this guy came off for, how long he's been on the team. And
I like it. I like it when Tirico says, yeah, well, good. We were watching some film. And I was like, oh, my God. Mike, good for you. You are probably the only play-by-play guy doing a game in any level that's watching tape with the color man. Yes.
Yeah. So, they do a good job, and they
do. Very good.
They have great energy. I like the fact that it seems like they like each other, which is always good too. And
Mike
enjoy
Tirico
working
likes
with each
everybody.
other. Yeah, but it's good. And yeah, they got a hell of a game. There's going to be a lot of fun things to discuss and talk about, and of course the strategies between the two coaches.
Okay, let's do it. We'll do this real quick.
All right,
because we're gonna. So Minnesota's offense. Give me 30. Give me a minute. Whatever you got about their offense, explain it to me.
To explain it to you, I mean,
well, just what you think of it.
Right now, and I was just talking to Bob Papa on Sirius XM NFL radio about it earlier today. The best offenses in the NFL, it's like Minnesota, Detroit, 1A, 1B. And it's debatable on which one's A and which one's B. And whether or not you really just like all the fun plays that Detroit runs. But Minnesota, multiple formations, right? The shifts, the motions, the way that they attack defenses with the ability to run screens, whether it's to the receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the ability that he has to get easy completions for Sam Darnold in crucial situations to keep him in rhythm if he does hit a little lull in the game. Sam Darnold's decisiveness, his footwork in the pocket, his decision-making has been absolutely phenomenal. And he's throwing the ball, I think, as purely, as anyone in the league at the current moment. So no doubt. Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold, I think, are really in sync right now. And with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson and the way that they're playing, I really think it's going to be a tough matchup for Aaron Glenn in this defense. And I'm curious to see what Aaron Glenn does. It's going to be probably a little bit of a mixture of different game plans essentially throughout the game, where it's like, oh, we're going to go all man this drive and it's all zone. And I think he's got to do a great job of mixing it up a little bit like how he did to Brock Purdy and the Niners later in that football game in the third and fourth quarter.
All right, you did the whole game. I mean, both sides. So that's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, once you get going, you got to go, man.
That's right, man.
Hey, so the offense, you're right. Formations and movement, they try to confuse you. They're very good at it. It's, as I've told people, I'll go into this. Both teams kind of mirror each other a little bit on the offensive side. They are looking to hammer that ball down the field.
Yeah.
And I did a show this morning. Somebody said, I think they'll play a lot of zone and make the other team. I go, if you play zone against either one of these teams, they're going to score 9 out of 10 drives. You can't beat them playing zone.
Right.
And because really both of them have solid offensive lines that can pass protect, and they know how to, what to do in pass protection too. You blitz, they can pick it up some. So they will destroy that. And just think about this. Minnesota, of course, Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, the tight end, Hawkinson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The running backs. They put the running backs out, Matt, with the wide receivers, and they run the wide receiver routes. And they know what they're going to do as soon as you line up. As soon as you trot a linebacker out there over the top of that running back, they run deep in cuts, double move goals, the deep crossers across the field. They throw screens. I mean, who in the NFL does that? It's amazing. And did you happen to hear Kevin O'Connell? They had a thing, I guess, NFL Films, him talking to Sam Darnold between a play.
No.
Oh, it's awesome. Hey, I just want you to know you're great. You're doing great. Get the guys and go in the huddle with you're great. I'm so proud of you. Right. And give me the play. But it was. I mean, come on. It kind of shows you how he treats his quarterbacks. That treatment elevates them. Mm-hmm. It gives them confidence. I don't care what you sometimes you can play bad, but if the coach is still on your side big time, you can snap out of it. And Kevin O'Connell, wow, but let me go to Detroit's defense and what you said real quick, and then we'll swipe it over. Detroit is going to play the way they would play if everybody was healthy. Mm-hmm. And they're missing 16 defensive players. 7 to 8 of them are key guys, not key, but really good players for their defense.
Anzalone might play, right? So that would be.
Oh, Anzalone. That's a big deal.
He might. We'll
big
see.
Deal.
Yeah.
Just because he's a good player, smart, communicator, all those things. But hell, what was I talking about? Their defense. Who's their coordinator? Aaron Glenn. He wants to play bump and run. And sometimes you don't even know who they got out there. It doesn't matter. They're going to be very aggressive with their hands, which I see when I watch them on tape. They will play a lot of man-to-man. They blitz. So this thing that you're going to play zone and try to make you go 8 or 10 plays down the field, that's a dream. If they do that, then they're going to lose the football game. So they will. I've watched too much of these two teams all week and just go, you can't beat them with zones. The systems are ready for it. The quarterbacks are both throwing the ball great. They're throwing to nothing but big-time receivers all over the field. Running backs,
what
tight ends.
offense are you picking? If you had to pick in a
Everything's even
situation, are you picking Ben Johnson's or Kevin O'Connell's?
It's close. I'm taking Ben Johnson's, though.
Ooh, okay. One game. Are you taking Sam Darnold and how he's playing, or Jared Goff and how he's playing?
Well, I'm just talking about everything is.
All right, you got Ben Johnson's offense. Keep playing the game, Phil. Don't get nervous.
All right. No, I'm not getting nervous. I don't want you to take it out of how you're forming the question. So who do I want as a quarterback?
We're just having fun. Yeah.
No, it's I love this. Okay, I'm
taking Darnold right now.
I'm going to take Darnold too. If I'm starting a team and they say, here's the one you want, take either one you want, then I'm going to take Sam Darnold.
Is it pretty wild, though, that we're both taking the quarterback that, has essentially done what Jared Goff has done, but he's in his first year of doing it, where Jared Goff now has done it repeatedly with the Detroit Lions, excuse me.
Man, listen, if we had this and we flipped the coin and you took Sam Darnold, I go, all right, I'll take Jared Goff. I think I'll be okay.
That's right.
Okay. Jared Goff, let's do this. The Lions offense now against Minnesota's defense. Let me do the defense real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know numbers. I don't look to see how many times they blitz and what the percentage is. I watch the film and I just get a feel for what they really are.
Yeah.
And it is unbelievable. I thought during the year somewhere that this blitzing would have to stop by the Minnesota defense because teams are going to figure it out.
Right.
And all it did, they just said, to hell with it. We're going to blitz more. It's unbelievable, again, as I really watch them. Matt, I was doing a game, and I said, let me count how many times they blitz.
Yeah.
The second quarter, one series, and it was 25 times. I said, I don't have time to do this. This take all day. So I said, to hell with it. They blitz a lot. But it's the creativity of the blitzes. And the two guys, in my opinion, that really have changed the team, especially on defense, who would they be? Jonathan Gennard and Van Ginkel.
Right.
Yes. Those two are, what's the word for them? They're maniacs.
Right.
I mean, they're crazy. And they do have a lot of blitzes that I've never seen with their linebackers, and they storm the fort. They time play calls. They're great at timing them and being like, oh, it's going to be a zone. And then at the last second, said HUD one, and boom, they time it and get to you.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. For the offense, Detroit, what do I think about them? Man, they have a lot of plays.
And just so you know, too, so for Minnesota, big picture.
Yeah.
So defensively, they're second with only rushing. They're second in rush defense, allowing only 89 yards a game. Now, pass defense, they give up 243. So, it's like Detroit, who runs the football well and passes the football well. Kind of curious to see if one or the other kind of gives in this situation. Well,
let me tell you,
defense, though, they get off the field in the third down. Right. Yeah. So 32%, they're fourth in the league in third down, and they're fourth in scoring, only giving up 18 points per game. So it's going to be really fun to see those critical situations for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they can get off on third down because they're going to blitz, and they're going to make you get rid of the football quick. And I don't care how good. Listen.
And why they get on third down, too, they win a lot of first and second down opportunities by stopping the run. And that'll
first
be
down.
Just like if Jahmyr Gibbs and the offensive line can get that push that they need to. And Blake Cashman has been playing awesome for them. He played awesome a week ago, so that'll be big too as well for this Minnesota defense.
I think I wrote down in my notes the defense. They stormed the fort on first down.
Right.
They're not going to let you run it, and I mean it is just it's like this. It's everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I tell you, I said to Boomer Esiason, Boomer, you know how, and you too, Matt, you know how you have the blitz period during the week getting ready for the team. Mm-hmm. Well, when you play Minnesota, you say, you know what? The hell with everything. The whole practice is blitz period.
That's right.
And I will say this also, man, Detroit had some really clever pickups playing when they played Minnesota.
Right.
Like they were outnumbered. So they sent a receiver across the formation. And of course, the guy's going to follow him. Well, the receiver went across the formation to block the end man on the other side because they couldn't pick them all up. But now they could.
Right.
They only did it a couple times. I went, wow, I haven't seen that pass protection in a long time. Very clever. Yeah, very interesting. But let me go this. Jared Goff, tough as hell. Man, I mean, everything that we thought about him out in LA, it's been over for so long, it's ridiculous. And he keeps getting as time goes, he just gets better and better at throwing the football.
Yeah.
And he's aggressive throwing the football. Tight windows down the middle of the field. I never seen two teams at like 22-yard in cuts in my life like these two teams do. It's crazy. But so you got a little idea what I think about it. And the game is, like I said, I'll give you my prediction. I'm going to take Minnesota, of course, in a very close game, and I think it'll be high scoring too.
Man, that's what scares me. I picked Minnesota earlier today on Sirius XM, and it scares me because I feel like everyone else is starting to pick Minnesota as well, which almost makes me want to say I should go with the Detroit Lions. But it's just hard for me to think that Detroit, yes, they have home field advantage. That'll be a tremendous advantage for them in this situation, in this game. That being said, I just don't know if they have enough of the Johnnies and Joes to slow down Minnesota in the way that they're playing football at the current moment.
Right.
And just how they feel about themselves. And if I would have to bet on a defense coming up clutch and making a big-time stop at the current moment, I'm just going to take the healthier unit, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. All right.
No doubt.
So I guess I'd rather be wrong in that situation, than kind of just going out on a limb for Detroit and what they're dealing with at the current moment.
I think both teams, what I learned too, watching games, and when they were leading late in the game, they were a little careful, and I think it was during the game they had in Week 7, and it cost you a game because if you're relying on the fact you're going to try to be careful.
Yeah.
With your offensive play calls, then you punt it. Then if you're careful on the defensive side, you're going to lose. Right. Either one of these teams get in that situation. That's what I've noticed, especially about Minnesota. Late in games, man, they're still hammering the ball. They're trying to end it with the football, not move the field and make it harder that way. And Detroit's the same thing, of course, because I don't know if they have a choice. It's go all out every chance you get.
All right, let's do one of these. All right, which skill group are you taking? Receivers, tight ends, and running backs, all included. Are you taking? Now let's pretend like David Montgomery is healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
good.
So you got Gibbs, Montgomery, Laporta, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, versus Addison, Jefferson,
Naylor.
Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, we can add Naylor. I didn't want to add Naylor just because I already added the two receivers for Minnesota. But yeah, he's a bonus too. And then you got Aaron Jones and now recently, a little bit more involved Cam Akers, it seems.
Well, let me think about it. I'll take Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, running back, it's close. But I like Minnesota better in that as far as talent. Because I think Naylor, he's a big-time part of this offense. And, of course, Detroit has the third receiver too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's tight. But I'm taking Minnesota's group.
Okay. Wow.
That's, between Addison.
Jameson Williams is really kind of –
I know.
He's figured it out. He's becoming the pro that they expected him to be. I feel like I would go with Detroit. I like Laporta a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Amon-Ra does all the other, and he also brings a level of physicality to the team too, where he can do just a little of everything. And then you got the two running backs. Like that's where it's a tough
stuff.
I mean, we're talking about Justin Jefferson. He's the best receiver in the league. Him and Jamar Chase. So
yes, they are.
It's debatable. But I think I would lean more towards Detroit.
Oh, good. Amon St. Brown. We hear this term all the time, and it's overused. Oh, he's a dog. No, he's more. Yeah, he's more than a damn dog. I mean, he wakes up mad. That's what. He's a 4th-round pick. What is he? One of those guys that said, "I got everybody that was drafted before me," and by God, one of those. Yeah. And he fits the chemistry of the team. Mm-hmm. He fits their offense. His talent is undeniable. His will to do it is undeniable. I mean, it really is. His dedication to what he does and how he plays, and he plays angry. You know, he's kind of a modern day Steve Smith. Maybe not quite as explosive as Steve Smith. Steve Smith was super explosive.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's kind of like he's got that in him as far as what. Remember, Christopher told us this. He was hurt standing on the sideline next to Gruden, and they're playing Carolina. And Steve Smith comes out there and he lines up at wide receiver right in front of Christopher and Gruden, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, Gru, I'm about to mess your guy up." Now I cleaned it up. Yeah.
No, he did. Yeah. He basically said, "I'm going to F this guy up right now. Watch me F this guy up." And
I'm going to F your boy up. Yeah.
And Christopher said that he did on the next play, on that very play. All right. Hold on. Last thing. Coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell or Dan Campbell?
Really tough. Most,
I know it's tough. That's why I asked. Shit.
All right. Well, hell, I got to talk out loud to figure out what the hell I'm going to say. I'm going to say Kevin O'Connell, just because nobody expected anything from them. Right. I mean, they were picked last by a lot of people who I think know what they're talking about. So I'm going to give it to Kevin O'Connell.
And on the opposite end of that, just to be to have that debate, which is debatable, Peyton Manning, is there's Dan Campbell, and he's got a 14-2 football team, and they've got, what would you say, 16, 17 guys out on the defensive side of the football?
16 defensive guys, 2 offensive guys.
16, so with that being said, and still being 14-2, man, it's debatable. All right. But I agree, though. I would go with Kevin O'Connell as well, with just Sam Darnold being the starting quarterback. Like you said, low expectations coming into the year, playing great football, but you really can't go wrong with either. They're both very deserving of that. But
give it to the one that gets to the championship game if one of them gets there. That's what
right.
I'd say.
Okay.
And the other thing is, too, whoever loses the game, of course, we know to get to the Super Bowl, they got to go on the road for three games.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I think both of those teams, if they're in that position, whichever one is, I think they'd have a chance of doing it.
Right.
Just their style of play, the decision, the coaching. There's so many things there. They no matter what happens in this game, whoever loses, they will be an extremely tough out.
No doubt. I think I would trust Minnesota more on the road than I would Detroit, given their circumstances.
Right.
And it really, it's nothing as far as coaching and all that, but just the fact that Detroit is kind of so one-sided with their offense at times. I mean, if their offense struggles a little bit against somebody on the road, that's where I feel like it could be an issue. But you're right, though. I mean, either one is still can be the champion of the NFC potentially, and really good football team at the current moment. All right, Phil Simms, you the man. Good show today. Yeah, appreciate it. Talk some college. Talk some NFL ball. We did it all today, man. We did it all.
Oh, you've been talking. You do that. You're doing that college show, so you're hearing some of these country guys come on and talk, right? Is that what it is?
That's right. I cover a lot of the SEC, and the more time I talk about the SEC, the southern I get.
Okay.
Hey, that's all we got here for Sims Complete. I'm Matt Sims. He's Phil Sims. Check us out, Sims Complete, part of the Believe Network. Follow him on Twitter, Phil Sims, whatever. Sims Complete as well for me on Instagram, on Twitter. Yeah, so check us out. We'll be back with more next week. Thank you. Goodbye.